May the Terrier tank engine was enjoying her new life on Edward's branch line. Ever since Edward had discovered her and saved her from Harley about a few months ago, she had become the center of attention, and people came to the railway on purpose just to see her. May enjoyed being the center of attention, and she told everyone her stories from her past. She could handle both trucks and coaches easily. She even proved to be a reliable banking engine, and would sometimes assist Drew with help bank trains up Gordon's Hill. Surprisingly, Gordon, James, and Henry had gained a great respect to May, and decided not to say or do anything to offend her. One day, May was pulling a local passenger train along Edward's branch line. It was a splendid day. She pulled into Sodor station where Percy was there delivering mail. He was excited.
Good morning, May. Have you heard the news?
News? What news?
One of your brothers is coming to Sodor to visit.
Really? Who is it?
His name is Stepney. He visits here before, and Topham Hatt said he's going to be staying here until after Boxing Day.
Whoa, really? It'll be nice to see him after so long.
That evening, May arrived back at Wellsworth Sheds. She had been thinking about Stepney for the rest of the day, and she couldn't wait to see him again. She then noticed Sir Topham Hatt waiting for her as she backed down into her berth of the sheds.
May, as you're aware, Stepney the Bluebell engine is coming down from the Bluebell Railway, and since you are both famous, I've arranged for a rail tour to come to Sodor.
Sir, who will be taking the rail tour? Will it be Gordon or Henry?
I'm afraid neither of them will. A visitor from the other railway will be taking the rail tour. The rail tour will arrive the day after Stepney arrives, and then it will be here for about a week. So I want all of you to be on your best behavior. Now get some sleep. You all have another busy day tomorrow.
But try as she might, May was too excited to sleep and couldn't wait for the big day to arrive. The next morning, May was being turned around on the turntable when she heard a whistle that sounded similar to her own. A gleam of yellow came into view from behind the bridge as Stepney puffed proudly into the yards. He smiled when he saw May.
Hello there, sis. Long time no see.
It has been. How are you?
I've been fine. Thank you for asking. So how's life been treating you? How did you end up on Sodor? And how's your little brother?
The two engines chatted about what they've been doing since they last saw each other, which was back in the 30s. After that, they both double-headed May's passenger train along the branch line and continued working on the branch line for the rest of the day. Later that evening, they double-headed a goods train bound for Knapford, where they would spend the night there and be prepared for the rail tour to arrive next day. The big day soon arrived. Both May and Stepney were being polished to perfection. They were excited for the Enthusiast to arrive.
Wow, I can't wait for them to arrive. They'll probably want to hear all of our stories from the past.
I know what you mean, but I think they'll be asking you about your past because you were lost and then found again by Edward.
Before May could say any more, they heard a whistle in the distance, and then the rail tour arrived. The Enthusiast disembarked from the coaches and walked over towards May and Stepney. The two engines had a lovely day. The Enthusiast took pictures of them from all different corners, and they even were given cab rides up and down the siding. Soon enough, 3 enthusiasts walked over to May and began to ask questions about her life. So, number 32635, what was it like working on the Hoenn Railway?
Well, I didn't just work at Petalburg Station. My brother and I traveled around the whole railway with Ash, a little 040 tank engine, and a tender engine by the name of Brock. The railway had a few islands, and the only way to get there was by ship.
How are you able to escape from scrap?
I didn't really escape from scrap. It was thanks to Max that I'm still here today. Although I still had to avoid being scrapped by my old rival. That was when I was discovered and rescued by old Edward. My greatest thanks would have to go to both my little brother and Edward.
What work do you do now on Sodor?
Oh, I work on Edward's branch line with Edward, Boko, Drew, Timothy, Marion, and those 2 little yellow devils called Bill and Ben. I usually shunt in Wellsworth Yards, and I help push trains up Gordon's Hill, but I also take my own trains along the branch line as well.
The enthusiasts were impressed and continued on asking the 2 terriers questions about their past. That evening, after the enthusiasts had gone to the hotel for the night, the 2 engines were telling Gordon and Max about their day.
They got to see what it's like to be in an engine's cab, and they took pictures of us from all different corners. It's like we were movie stars.
I've never had that much attention before in years!
You two are really famous. If this keeps up, you will be a shining star.
Shining star? Huh. That will be the day.
Gordon gasped. Puffing onto the turntable in front of the 4 engines was the same LMS Patriot that he and Duck had an argument with about the name of London Station.
What are you doing here?
I'm the one who put in the rail tour. You know, for the enthusiasts who want to see engines like you lot.
We know what a rail tour is.
And what did you mean by that won't be the day?
Isn't it clear? These two will never be as famous as me. Besides, why would the railway keep engines for later version of all being scrapped? Or better yet, never existed.
May was upset from the rude comments. Max was cross with what the LMS Patriot had just said.
How dare you speak to me like that? Now apologize.
I'm only putting out the facts, small fry.
What hit you?
Or else what?
The big city engines driver moved the engine away to break up the fight. When he was gone, Max spoke kindly to May.
Ignore that little creep, May. You know how many big engines that treat us shunters like scum.
Martin is right. When I first met Batten, he was rude, arrogant, and full of himself. James, Henry and I have gained a great respect to you, Stepney, and the other members of your class. Take no notice of that patriot. I'm sure he'll get his comeuppance.
This made May feel just a bit better. Over the next few days, the enthusiasts were enjoying themselves. May and Stepney were both the center of attention. The enthusiasts even filmed the 2 engines in action as they were helping Max shunt around in the yards. The big city engine watched on in disgust as he had to help with some of the jobs during his stay. He thought it was nothing more but a waste of time.
Useless terrorist.
But soon it was time for the Enthusiast to return home to the mainland. It was the morning before the big city engine had to take the rail tour back to the mainland. All the other engines had gone off to work, except for May and Stepney. The big city engine was nearby, being prepared to take the rail tour back. He then noticed the two tank engines resting in the sheds nearby, and wanted to show off.
Look at me, May and Stepney. Now I'll show you how a modern steam engine pulls a train.
He puffed proudly out of the yard and headed towards the station. Then there was trouble. With a bang and screech of brakes, the big city engine came to a standstill. May and Stepney were trying hard not to laugh at his misfortune. The big city engine seethed with fury as May and Stepney pushed him back into the sheds. Sir Topham Hatt was waiting for them along with an inspector, who began to look the engine over. Within a few minutes, the problem was found. It seems that this engine's fire bars collapsed when he was pulling out of the yards. I'm afraid he can't pull the train. We need another engine to take the rail tour back to the mainland.
All the other engines are busy. The only ones available are Stepney and May.
I don't think they can do it. We'll have to...
No, please, sir. Let May and I take the rail tour to Barrow. It will take too long for another engine to arrive.
Sir Topham Hatt paused for a moment and thought this over. He then agreed to the idea, which surprised everyone.
What? Sir, I can't think what you're saying.
My decision is final.
He headed to his office to make the arrangements. May was very nervous as she looked back at her brother.
I'm not so sure about this, Stepney. You know that our brothers and sisters weren't built for express passenger trains, right?
There's nothing to worry about. I pull trains far heavier than this, and I did the same task the last time I was here.
All right, we'll give it a go then.
The engines were soon ready. Stepney was coupled to the coaches, while May was coupled in front of him.
Caitlin will take the train onwards when you get to Barrow, so get the train there. Never mind about being late. Good luck.
The cavalcade moved carefully out of the station and out onto the open line. Clouds of smoke and steam poured out of their funnels as they gathered speed. As they sped along, May began to feel a bit more confident.
We will do it!
They raced through Henry's Tunnel, blasted past Edward Station, and next they charged up Gordon's Hill. They felt the heavy drag of the coaches as they began to attack the climb. It was hard work. They puffed on, wishing that either Edward or Drew were with them to help them. But at last, they reached the top and they let the weight of the coaches roll them down. But after they crossed the viaduct, the two engines began to feel very tired, yet they still had a long way to go. They were far away from Knapford now, and they knew that there was no turning back now. All May and Stepney could do was continue on, and for the rest they would get when Caitlin would take over. Soon, they saw a beautiful sight in the distance, the Vicarstown Bridge, and both engines knew that they were almost there. But as they began to cross the bridge, Meg began to feel the train getting heavier. Stepney was slowing down, and now the whole weight of the train, with Stepney as well, pulled on May's coupling chain.
Come on, Stepney, don't give up now. We're almost there.
Stepney started to give a little more effort. And at last, they brought the rail tour to a nice steady stop. The passengers cheered for the two engines and got out to thank the two terriers. After that, May and Stepney were uncoupled from the train and ran onto a siding and out of the way. Caitlin backed down onto the rail tour. She looked over at the two weary terriers.
Great job, Stepney, and great job, May.
And with that, Caitlin puffed respectfully away with little difficulty. After filling up on more coal and water, the two engines began their long journey home. When they arrived at Knapford Station, Sir Topham Hatt was waiting for them on the platform. He had heard about May and Stepney making it to Barrow, and he was very proud of both of them.
Stepney and May, I've heard all about it and I am proud of you both. You got the rail tour to Barrow safely and on time. The passengers said that they will come back to visit here and the Bluebell Railway, and bring their friends too. As a reward, you will receive a new coat of paint.
Thank you, sir.
After that day, May now has more confidence in herself. She now knows that she shouldn't let other engines get her down. She has Stepney to thank for that. She now believes she could do much more and always tries her best no matter what. And as for the Big C engine, he was repaired and went back to the other railway. He learned a lesson too, to never judge a book by its cover.